Let's continue discussion of more terminology. Remember when we were doing counting numbers and we wrote our number in the expanded form? 3 was set to be in the hundreds place, 2 is in the tens place, and 4 was in the units place. And when we wrote the hundreds place in the expanded notation, we wrote 10 to the power 2. And that simply meant that take 2 copies of 10 and multiply together. In general, when we write 10 to the power n, that's how you read this, 10 to the power n, take n copies of 10 and multiply together. In general, if you take a to be any real number and n to be a counting number, a to the power n is going to represent for us n copies of a multiplied together. The n that you see here is called the exponent, and the a here is called the base. It is absolutely essential that you make sure that this terminology is part of your vocabulary, because that is going to help you tremendously when we do arithmetic with it. It is important to be able to identify which is your exponent and which is your base. Remember, the exponent tells you that's how many copies of the base you're going to use to multiply together. In general, you can also replace the real number for the base to be any mathematical object, and it will still mean the same thing. A to the power n represents n copies of a multiplied together. N is again called the exponent and a is called the base. Let's do some examples. 2 to the third, there are 3 copies of 2 multiplied together. 2 is the base, 3 is the exponent. Here, we're changing the 2 and this -5 parentheses cubed. So -5 is our base, 3 is our exponent. Over here, you're going to see negative sign. So that's the sign for the answer to 4 squared. 2 is the exponent, 4 is the base. Look at the difference between examples 2 and 3. In example 2, -5 is the base, but in example 3, 4 is the base and not -4. So as you see, this square represents 4 times 4, 16, and then this negative sign will make it -16. So very important to be able to identify base and exponents. Here are more examples. A squared, a is the base, 2 is the exponent, so 2 copies of the base. Whether you understand this notation or not, whatever the base is, you're going to take that 3 times, and that negative sign is that negative sign. So remember, take the base, 3 copies of the base, multiplied 3 times. If you do know what this symbol represents, it's function evaluated at x. We will study this in a little bit of depth a little bit later, but the point here is simply to be able to identify what's the base and what's the exponent. Here the base is AB and the exponent is 5. Take a look at this example. Here the base is a squared c cubed when the exponent is 4. 4 copies of a squared c cubed. However, the base itself has exponents in it. A squared, a is the base, 2 is the exponent, c is the base, 3 is the exponent. So remember, 4 is the exponent for the base a squared c cubed. 2 is the exponent for base a. 3 is the exponent for base c. And so we had to identify all the bases and exponents involved here. So here comes homework that you will complete. Take paper and pencil and get ready to identify base and exponent. So 12 times write down base, exponent, base, exponent. Pause the video and do that on a piece of paper, and be ready to write down the base and exponent as you see objects appear on the screen. The objects will appear randomly on different parts of your screen, so pay very careful attention, concentrate, and identify base and exponent. We will pause so you are able to write your answers down, and then we'll move on. So ready for the 12 questions. The first question I'll do for you. So that's how things are going to pop up, and then you are supposed to write down base and exponent. So over here you can see that base is 2/3 and exponent is 2. So next to each question write down base and exponent. Base is 2/3, exponent is 2. Are you ready? So pause the video, write down 11 times base, exponent, and get ready. All right. Hopefully you have all the blanks ready, and let's start the problem. Write the problem down and then continue. So go ahead, write base and then write down the exponent. Remember, this is a complicated one, so there are several bases and exponents involved. Write them all, please. If I'm going at a faster rate, you can always pause and rewind and come back. Remember, you want to write base and you want to write exponent. Hopefully you got all the questions. If you didn't, please stop here, rewind, get all the questions that you missed, and identify base and exponent. This is an absolutely essential exercise. Let's check and see if you got it right. So for this example, your base would be g of x, exponent would be 4. As you can see, g of x base, exponent is 4. Let's take a look at base is 5, exponent is 4. Base is 5, exponent is 4. Base is 9, exponent is 4. Base is 9, exponent is 4. Here, remember there are multiple bases. C squared d cubed is the base for exponent 4. C is the base for exponent of 2. D is the base for exponent of 3. Make sure that you got all of that. If you're not sure, go back and review definition of base and exponent. So this was base -7, exponent is 2. Base of 1/3, exponent of 2. Base is this whole negative x plus 1 over y, exponent is 2 in this example. Again, if you're not sure what's happening, do go and check. Make sure you understand what the base and exponents are.